What's going on, guys? It's Levi, and today I need to be brutally honest with all of you when I say that doing business in New York is not for beginners if you are a land flipper. And I learned this the hard way. So I want to tell you guys a deal that looked absolutely perfect on paper, right? We got a property under contract, 5 acres, purchase price $7,000. Expected resale, $35,000, and this was confirmed with broker opinions as well. Okay, so on paper, absolute steal, and every land software that I have showed no wetlands, no flood zone, very flat, buildable parcel, and it had a creek in the back. Pretty sweet. And so what looked like a $25,000 to $30,000 spread after all the fees ended up being worth absolutely nothing. And it was unfortunate. I was already counting the profit and I was not ready for what I found out. So if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Levi. I am co-owner of MMC Land, where we buy and sell vacant land parcels. We also help beginners get their first land deals, as long as helping more seasoned investors scale their business. So let's talk about what happened to kill a deal that badly. Well, it's New York. New York happened. And so we went and we called the township code enforcer because it was a residential lot. And essentially, I just wanted to find out the building requirements, like what I could build here. Right? Like minimum square feet, stuff like that. I was not expecting for this person to tell me that the entire property is wetlands, because I go and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't see it at all. He sends me a map and it shows that it's, the entire property is covered in wetlands. It's unusable. I can't build on it. I can't put a septic, can't get a permit, nothing. Right? And so here's the crazy part is that you would never know that by looking at any land softwares. None of them flagged it. Land ID, Regrid, the land portal, nothing. The only way to verify this is through the New York, essentially DEC website, Department of Environmental Conservation, like wetland maps. And then obviously a direct confirmation from the local code enforcer. And so that went from, 25 to 30 grand in profit to completely dead. And so this is the worst part, is because a lot of these wetland and floodplain studies in New York were done like 30 years ago, right? Or before. So like a lot of the old mapping data is super old, outdated, or based on criteria that's changed, right? So now you're stuck in this weird gray zone because none of your softwares detect anything, but all of the townships have a map that says your property's wet, and it's maybe not even 100% accurate. Maybe the conditions changed, or they have different requirements, or drainage shifted and how they, used to measure things. So like, what do? Like, you can pay for a wetlands delineation, an environmental, consultation, like engineering reports, flood evaluations, but these are thousands of dollars. And here's the gamble. Like, you could spend all that money and still lose. And so a delineation might confirm it's wetlands, and the town might still deny your permits. The DEC buffer rules will maybe still block you from doing anything. And now you're risking money just to make a deal viable. And that's a very dangerous position for beginners. And don't even talk about the timeline. You lock up these deals, 30-day close, and then you have to be like, well, actually, we need 2 months to check this thing in due diligence, right? So that's a problem as well. And so this is the trap, because this is what can happen to a lot of new investors. So you go and you send out $5,000 worth of mail in New York, and you're getting properties under contract for cheap. You're getting a lot of calls back, and you're thinking that you're crushing it. But then your due diligence starts, and the 10 properties you got under contract from 5,000 mails, they're all wetlands, or the specific town has a flood zone that your land software is not picking up. And so then you can't build with it, or your property is deemed like useless. And then you need to spend like 10 grand to like see if the parcel is usable. And so it's just really annoying. So you can't trust filters, and there's nothing that you can do to like scrub well against these things, right? So you have to verify for each parcel like the specific town resources. And now let's talk about the township, the nightmares of contacting townships, because this is a problem. You're not dealing with big metro offices. You're dealing with a part-time guy who is a volunteer, who works like 2 hours a week, who doesn't answer their email. Their voicemail is full. You know, he might only be available from Tuesday from 9 to 11 a.m. And then you have to factor in, you know, if you're in a different time zone, you have to factor in your own time zone, figure that out. If you're on a W-2, good luck, right? Because you have to contact these people at a certain time. And if you miss them, you know, like, sweet, then you have to wait another week. And then in the time when they're open, they're dealing with other people because their time is so limited, right? So you're fighting for just to get it in a word. And so the due diligence here is extremely slow and frustrating. And so like if you get 5 things under contract in New York and you need to do due diligence very quickly, good luck. It's going to be a nightmare. And so I want to talk about the outreach strategy that matters here, because you can still do deals, right? But, you know, this is important. If you're going to market in New York, I strongly recommend cold calling or texting, because it's cheap. So like it would absolutely suck to spend $5,000 in mail, get a bunch of people calling you back just to find out that it's wetlands when you actually start your due diligence. Now you're locked into all of the money that you just spent, and it's not really your fault, because your scrubbing could have been perfect, but it's just that the towns have their own wetlands, they have their own flood zones, you know, because that's just how New York is, right? And with cold calling or texting, it's still very cheap. You can filter through leads quicker, and then it also, like, you know, it's quicker, right? With mail, it's going to take months. And so I would just maybe strongly consider not doing mail in New York, especially if it's like your first go around. But doing deals here is very possible, right? It's not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a little bit more advanced, right? You know, you guys really need to be careful, verify your wetlands, double check the township's flood zones. I would get written emails from all of the code enforcers letting you know that property is buildable, right? You need to have good patience to be able to reach these people, because they're hard to reach, especially in more rural areas. And you need to have the ability to recognize a deal is cooked right away, so you don't waste extra time on it. So guys, this is not like Texas, it's not like Arizona, it's not easy mode, right? It's very hard. So just keep that in mind, right? And so just final thoughts. You know, this 5-acre deal taught me something. This is the first deal I got under contract in New York, and I learned that if you skip something in New York and you can think that you're gonna make like 30K, you could actually be buying a swamp, and you can lose all of your money, especially if you don't have a funder. So doing deals here is not for the faint of heart. It takes a lot of work to verify stuff, but if you learn how to navigate it properly, there's opportunity, because it's hard to deal with. So a lot of people don't even want to deal with it. And so that's pretty much it, guys, for this video. I just thought I had a very interesting experience, and I wanted to share it all with you. Kind of let you know it's kind of a nightmare. And if none of this sounds fun, stay away, and maybe, you know, I'll keep doing New York deals with less competition. But either way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I answer all my DMs. Comment if you enjoyed the video, like if you liked the video. And I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.